Welcome to Quick Bytes, the lunchtime live stream with your tech integration specialist, Scott Conway. Welcome and thank you for joining us today on this episode of Quick Bytes. We are going to dive into the email templates feature in Gmail. This is a really useful feature that is not on by default, so we do need to configure Gmail to turn this on, but I'll show you how to do that. And it serves as a great function of being able to kind of serve as an auto reply, a semi-auto reply, I'll say, because the only real, no, I take that back. There really are ways to do this to set it up to auto reply. We typically think of the auto reply as our vacation sender and our vacation responder. And that truly was the original of the auto replies. In Gmail, the vacation responder is in under settings, and it can be turned on and set for several days. And what happens is you can pick who, you can choose who gets that vacation responder. If it's within the organization or even somebody outside the organization, what they're going to get is when they email you, that vacation responder is going to reply right back. And then it won't do it again for another 3 or 4 days. So there's some kind of, it doesn't keep bombarding them every single time with that message, like a true auto reply would bombard them every single time. You can do that actually using the filters and forwarding function in settings. So if we set up a template to kind of serve as an auto reply, you could set it up so that any time a message comes in from somebody inside your organization, you hit them right back with that template. And that truly would be an auto reply, and it would bombard them every single time. And you may or may not want to do that. So that's up to you, but that physically can be possible. It's not really what we're going to show you today. More importantly, what I'm going to show you today actually is setting up the template to manually reply. And I use the example, at least in my line of work, where I'm doing tech support or software support or support in general for staff members in my organization. I need them to submit a ticket to our ticketing system so that it gets put into the proper channels and it gets documented and then it gets back to me. And oftentimes the quick and easy is they just email me directly. And for some things that's fine, and for most things it's not. It needs to get into the ticketing system. So I find that I have to kind of reply back with, I'm very willing to help you out. Please submit a support ticket, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And we'll get working on this ASAP, something to that extent. And I want to be able to pick and choose, because not all of my responses or not all of my emails coming in require that reply. So I can't really set it to auto reply using the filters and forwarding. I don't want to bombard everyone with that, because there's a few people or there's a few situations where someone emails me directly and I just want to reply back. I don't need them to go to the full extent of a support ticket or something like that, but I just kind of want to hold them off and say, hey, here, go support ticket, blah, blah, blah. If you're a teacher in the classroom, you might use this as you kind of want to reply back to the parent, but you really don't want to fully reply. So it's kind of like holding them kind of steady. Say, come up with some generic statement that can kind of just say, I'm in the middle of class right now, but I'll take a look at this by the end of the day and get back to you. It's a generic statement that could apply to most situations. And that's where templates come in handy. They're also handy for consistently delivering the same message. So if something's going on, or you find you're writing the same email 5, 10, 20 times, write it once, and then you have a very consistent message that goes out every time someone is asking about something. And again, I know I'm being very vague, but this is kind of what templates are good for. So let's get right into how do we turn this on? How do we construct it? How do we utilize it? There's 1,000,001 different uses. You're going to kind of have to come up with the creativity of that. And when and where do you want to use this? I've given a couple examples of how I use it, and I'll share with you this one. But where we're going to start in Gmail here is in the gear icon in the upper right-hand corner, go down to Settings. Now, I did mention the vacation responder. If you're okay with that and you want to set that up, you can do that. That's kind of all the way down here at the bottom under vacation responder. You can kind of see I have it. I will be out of state and unavailable from blah, blah, blah to blah, blah, blah. I'll respond to your email as soon as possible or when I return. And you can do this for people in your contact list, or you can do this just to people in your organization. If neither of these are selected, it will be everybody. So, and this hits every 4 days. There it is right there. So it's an automated message that goes right back out. And if they email you today, they're going to get the auto reply. If they email you again tomorrow, they're not going to get the auto reply. But if they email you again in 5 days, they will get the auto. It's just as a reminder, hey, just in case you forgot, this guy's not available. And that's kind of what this is. So that's the rudimentary version of this. And I mentioned forwarding or filters and blocked addresses. You can actually use your filters to find certain emails and then automatically do something with it. And in this case, it would be to actually send a template. So to get templates turned on, we're going to come all the way over to advanced. And then you're going to come down to the second one here, templates. Turn frequent messages into templates to save time. Templates can be created and inserted through the More Options menu. We'll show you how to do this. So we got to first turn it on and enable it, and then click Save. And you're going to see that your whole email system is going to refresh because it now needs to make this new item available from the menu. And we're going to get to this by actually drafting an email. So I'm going to go ahead and click Compose in the upper left-hand corner. You see I've got my dialog box here. I'm going to make this larger so everybody can see this. You can see that I have a signature already inserted. And this is a new feature. You can actually change really quickly whether or not you have your signature on or off, and you can actually manage multiple signatures. I know this is not the topic of this one, but because we're here, I want to mention it, and I need to mention it because you need to turn your signature off when you create a template. And the reason is, if I left my signature on and I created my template and saved my template, when I go to insert that template later, it's going to duplicate my signature line and it will be added in there twice. So in this case, I'm going to turn my signature off, and I'm going to draft a subject line. Actually, I don't even need a subject line, because when I use this to reply to a message, it's just going to automatically fill in whatever the subject was. This is an auto reply, so I don't need to, the subject line will already be taken up. So I'm going to just type my message. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to copy and paste this cheesy, nice little message that I found and created. It's just kind of a generic message. Thanks so much for reaching out. This auto reply is just to let you know, blah, blah, blah. It's a nice way of kind of putting someone off for a little bit and saying, I'll get to you as soon as I can. For right now, just know I've received your message and I'm working on it. Just something like that, simple. Now, I've got my message crafted. Notice there's no recipients. There's no subject. The recipients are actually going to either be already pre-filled because this is going to be a reply to a message, or it's left blank so that I can manually start an email, use the template, and then pick my recipients. I've got that option too. Again, we talked about using this as a message of consistency. I want to say the same thing every single time, or maybe every month I want to send out the same email. You could do that, and that would let me put my recipients in manually. And then the subject, I'm going to leave blank because, again, most of the time I'm going to be replying to a message that already has a subject, and that's going to get filled in there. So I really just need the message. Then I'm going to come down to the, let me turn this off for right now, just for the sake of it. And we'll get it on later. Oh, come on. Disable into next visit. There we go. Yep, I got it. Okay, 3 dots in the lower right-hand corner, and you'll see templates is now available. And I've got no saved templates for this account, so we're going to save one. And I'm going to choose to save this draft as a template. And I hover over that, come over and say Save as New Template. And I need to give it a name. I'll just call this one Support Request. That's kind of the nature of it, and click Save. That's it. It is now a saved template. That's all it took. And if I come in here and hover over and click on the 3 dots, go up to Templates, you can see my template is saved there now. Now I can delete templates down here. I can also save a draft as a template. Now, if I want to update this, and let's say I take out, well, I don't like chatting. I want to change the word chatting to We look forward to talking soon. Just a manner of expression. I come up, go to templates, save draft as template. Now I come back and I want to overwrite this template. If I don't want to overwrite and I want to save it as a brand new, then I go down here, save as new template. But this template's already created. I just want to update it. So I'm going to overwrite it with this one. And it's going to say, do you want to overwrite a save template? Yes, I do. So I click save. And that's it. So that's a save template. Now what I would do is delete this message. This is just a draft. Close it out. I don't need it. Now watch what happens. If I want to start from fresh using a template, I start a new message. Notice my signature is in there. I click the three dots, template, support request. Perfectly formatted message, consistent. It's got my signature in there. All I need to do now is if I'm not okay with the subject, notice that it puts the name of the template in as the subject if you start from scratch. Remember, if we're using this as a reply, then it will actually use the subject. Now I'm going to test this out. I'm going to send myself a message real quick. Test message. We'll send this out. We'll send that to me. So while that's coming through, I would then go ahead and I would put my my recipients in. I would maybe modify the message subject if I wanted to. Maybe I named it right and it works perfectly every time. But this is it. I put my recipients in. I modify and adjust the subject of the message, and I look it over and I fire it out. I hit send. That's it. Starting from scratch, you simply insert the template and it starts the new message. I'm going to delete that just to come back here and see if I get that message in yet. And let me refresh the whole thing. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. I really want to show you what this looks like. There we go. Okay, so there's my test message. Person has emailed me, please help. I really can't get to you right away, so I'm going to click reply. And notice the message subject is up here, test message. Recipient is automatically filled in. I'm going to come down here, click on templates, go over to support request, and there it is. It fills in the message for me. The recipient's already there because I'm replying to the person. The subject, if we look at the edit subject, it is regarding test message. And there we go. All I have to do is click send. So it is a quick way for me to either reply automatically if there's times where, I don't need this to auto reply every single time. I want to pick and choose. I use it as a manual auto reply or a semi-automatic reply. Or, as I showed you earlier, you can create a brand new message from scratch, insert your template. That way you're sending the same consistent message over and over again. So the templates function in Gmail is really great. It gives you the option, you do have to enable it first, but it gives you the option to automatically reply or semi-automatically reply to messages in a very consistent manner. And that's really what you want. You want to send the same message every time. But creatively, it can also allow you to create from scratch using a template. And if you really want to go more advanced, you come into the filter under settings, filters and blocked addresses. You can actually set up a filter so that anytime a message comes from someone outside the organization, you say, not the domain of whatever, somebody from the outside, every time it comes in, I want to reply automatically with this Gmail template. And it will automatically send that template right back without your interaction. Again, you got to pick and choose when you set those types of things up because, as I said, it's going to go out every single time and you might not necessarily want to bombard them, or that message that you created doesn't necessarily fit in every situation. So that's why I like to set it up as a template. And then I pick and choose based on the email that comes through. I might choose to send this template versus that template. I've got several templates that I might draft. And then depending on the situation, I pick one template over the other. But again, it's just a way to send that consistent message every single time without having to type it out each and every time. I'm just going to quickly look to see if we have any questions in our stream. I do not see any questions coming in. So I thank you for joining me today. That's all the time we have, and hope you'll join me in the future.